All right, you guys, let's talk today about what you're made up of. Three basic things: mind, body, and soul. These are the basic things that make you up as a person. I want to talk about these things in relationship to physical exercise. I think that one of the biggest revelations when it comes to taking care of these three items, your mind, your body, your soul, it's you have to be putting in the work on the physical end. There's a saying that faith without works is dead, and I think that's so true. We can sit here, we can talk about all the things that we're made up of, and all these spiritual practices and all this stuff. What you have to remember is you have to take care of your physical well-being, because that will transcend, that will lead into the other parts. It's that will transcend into the mind and the soul. So it all starts with having a plan for your physical fitness, having a routine. We all know your physical health will help lead to your mental well-being, which is where we need to be. My experience with this was, getting sober 5 years ago now, and I didn't have an exercise plan in place or working out or any of that stuff like I do now. But once I got clear, and I would say it probably took me 2-3 years, probably 3 years into sobriety to learn that I was missing something. I was missing the physical part. And it has to be a workout, or at least yoga or something along those lines that really gets you to sweat, gets you to release the endorphins, that activity. So for me, it took a while, but once I figured it out and I got into the routine, then I knew, okay, this is part of my new routine. And it makes all the difference. Like I said, it leads to your mental well-being. When you're doing these workouts, I went from working out maybe like 3 days a week, 4 days a week, kind of weak workouts, but I had to learn how to get into it, I would just go in there and do the treadmill on an incline just to get started, and then it turned into the stair climber. Like, I was just going in there to sweat, and then now I have a whole routine, a whole plan on really like building the body that I want. And what that does for you mentally is unbelievable. I think people forget that we have these chemical factories in our body that can be released if we do the right activities. And you don't need a drug or any of that. The only reason these drugs exist is because they already exist within our system. So we just take something to activate what's already in us. There's natural ways of doing that. Working out is one of them, to release endorphins. So that is where exercise and working out plays a role into taking care of the mind and the soul. But the other thing too, the reason this is so important is it starts to provide routine and structure. So having that routine, having that structure, it gives you a sense of purpose. You see so many people who are just so lost in life, and they don't have a sense of purpose, so they're just going in whatever direction feels right that day. And especially for like men in particular, like I hired a coach last year. The coach, he just pounds it home. He says it's purpose over pleasure. Purpose over pleasure. This is so important, or else we just spiral out. We'll go in any direction, whatever we feel that day, and the result is never what we want. It's not fulfilling. It's purpose over pleasure. Okay? And what's your purpose? Some of you are going to be asking, what's your purpose? What's my purpose? Your purpose is you. Build the best version of you. Again, mind, body, soul. We got to tend to all three of these. So the routine and structure, massive for feeling that sense of purpose. And this plays into your daily habits, right? This is part of, like, for me, again, drawing back on my experience, one of the biggest parts of my new daily habits now are these workouts, and then basing a diet around the workouts. These are my new daily habits. So a lot of you who are getting sober or thinking about getting sober, some of you have reached out, this is what I think, this is where I'm at, and I'm grateful for you guys who have reached out, because I love sharing this stuff. For me, it's like we have these addictive behaviors and these addictive habits, and a lot of us don't realize that we can shift those into a healthy set of daily habits. And because of the way we're wired, we for the most part, we'll just go all in on it. And you can really turn your life around quick, just like we can burn our lives down quick. It can happen the other way around, and that's a beautiful thing to understand and know and be able to implement. So other than that, when it comes to tending to this, the physical activity, like I said, I'm tying this back to the mind, body, and soul. The physical activity, the workouts, like I'm saying, this tends to the mind, body, and soul more than any other part, in my opinion. Second to none. And when you're really doing this too, you'll find that, if you go to a gym, whatever you do, if you go to yoga's a big one now too. You'll find a sense of social support, a new set of people who have common goals to yourself. And the power of that is, you don't feel alone in the journey, because you're shifting into these new habits. You might feel alone. When you have that social structure, that social support, that's going to help push you across the finish line each day when you're trying to implement these habits. Don't underestimate that portion. And so that's really today's video. That's the physical activity, the workouts. Do not underestimate that in early sobriety, late sobriety. You might already be sober, maybe you're not sober, whatever. You have to be implementing this to get to that next level that you're wanting to get to, that outcome that you want. And ultimately, the outcome that we want is just to feel good about ourselves. I think that's what we're all searching for here. So at the end of the day, we gotta figure out what your workout program is going to be. If you don't know what that's going to be, shoot me a DM, message me on here, whatever it is, and I can help put you in the right direction. Again, it's all about recreating a new set of daily habits. This is the only way to make a positive change in your life.